Hello and welcome to Tête à Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. Our guest this week is Efraim Halevy. He's the former head of the Mossad, Israel's intelligence service, and he joins us from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much, Mr. Halevy, for being on the show today.
I'm happy to be with you too.
In the last few weeks, Israel has struck 4 capitals in the Middle East: Beirut, Sana'a, Tehran, and most recently, Damascus, all this while waging war in Gaza. How significant is this Israel dominance in the region?
There is a major confrontation between Israel and its enemies at this particular point in time. It so happens that all these enemies somehow, for one reason or other, converged on Israel, and we had no option but to return and to make sure that we are safe and sound inside the country, although from time to time, like something that happened a couple of days ago, could be of big importance and big, shall we say, danger to Israel.
Was the turning point for you Israel's operation decapitation, if I may use the word, of Hezbollah in Lebanon? Because this meant that Israel could eventually strike Iran without fearing retaliation from southern Lebanon.
Well, the problem from Lebanon was the more, shall we say, the lesser of the problems that we were facing. The Lebanese government, the Lebanese army was not fighting us. It was the Hezbollah group, which is a non-governmental terrorist organization. And the Hezbollah had the support of Iran, which was not only financing this group, but also providing them with large quantities of military equipment. We've also had to deal, more or less, I'd say, parallel to this, with a problem in Gaza, where there was an attack against Israel on the 7th of October a couple of years ago. And that was a second problem which we had to face concurrently.
Right.
And the third problem we have is a problem in the West Bank, which is the Palestinian Authority, but where there are large groups of terrorists who are fighting us. And all this is more or less parallel to the way we have to face our challenges at the moment.
Right. On the 12-day war with Iran, I mean, you've advocated for years talking to Iran. Obviously, this was not the option chosen by the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you think this was a good decision to strike Iran? And do you think those strikes were conclusive? Not to mention the fact that Iran has also been able to hit Israel maybe much more than people acknowledge.
Well, the fact of the matter is that as far as Iran is concerned, we have not only had to protect ourselves from their attack, and I'll say something about that very personal in a moment, but also the Iranians, up to a certain point in time, were careful in the way they confronted us. But when they began to attack us, we had no other option but to retaliate. And they have retaliated by attacking us physically in the heartland of Israel. I'm sitting now in my department, and about 200 meters from here, a bomb was actually exploded in one of the main thoroughfares in Tel Aviv. People were killed, and the number of casualties we have had as a result of Iranian attacks during the short war with Iran, the direct war of 12 days, resulted in major problems we had in protecting not only the outskirts of the country, but also the heart of the country, with Tel Aviv being the #1 and biggest city in the country.
But would you assess that it was a successful operation? Because there are also doubts about how far back Iran's nuclear program was dialed by Israel's and the American assault.
Well, I'm not personally aware entirely of what the result of the assault on Iran was. The actual attack was carried out by the United States, as you probably know. And I think the United States believes that they were pretty successful in attacking the Fordo center, which is probably one of the main places where the nuclear military efforts has been at the top. At the moment, this short war, 12 days, resulted in a success on the part of Israel and the United States. But I think it's too early to say how far the attack on Fordo actually achieved its aim. Did the missiles which were sent against the Fordo center, did they actually penetrate deeply enough in order to destroy the nuclear military activities going on there or not? My feeling is that they were pretty successful, but there is still no immediate and entire public statement on this by the Iranians, and for reasons of their own, obviously, they do not wish to reveal exactly what the result of the attack was.
Right. I want to turn to Gaza. Obviously, 21 month of war. What is the end game in Gaza? I mean, we've seen Israel's government presenting plans to squeeze the population into the southern part of Gaza. The defense minister, Israel Katz, even came up with this concept of a quote-unquote humanitarian city that some critics say resembles more a concentration camp. Do you have any idea what Israel is up to in Gaza?
Do I have an idea? I have a faint idea. I'm not privy to all the government decisions on this issue. But the fact of the matter is that despite the enormous losses that the Hamas has had to take into account, and the I'd say the constant losses of key figures in the leadership of the Hamas military capabilities, nevertheless, Hamas is still there, and it still has a degree of internal organization. And I think it's too early to say whether Israel has finally vanquished the Hamas in Gaza. It's too early to say that.
Former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert said Israel was probably committing war crimes in Gaza and also possibly in the West Bank. Do you share his assessment?
I don't think we are committing war crimes. I think this matter has been discussed in several fora of the international legal system in The Hague and elsewhere. I think that Israel is active and its military is certainly, I think, respecting international law and military law. And I think that we are in this respect facing the law as certainly our enemy, the Hamas, is certainly not keeping the law and protecting the law, international law. And I think this is something we have to take into account. We still have a serious number of hostages in the hands of the Hamas. The conditions in which they are being held are in no way comparable to the way we send captives into military prisons. But what they are doing is they are keeping these people underground and are mutilating them in various means and ways which are totally inhuman from every point of view.
Just as a last question, in the future, do you think Israel should negotiate with Mahmoud Abbas, or maybe, you've mentioned it in the past, the jailed Palestinian leader, jailed for life, Marwan Barghouti?
My personal view is that Marwan Barghouti is a credible candidate to become the leaders of the Palestinians now. My view is not held by the government, and they're keeping him in the jail. But I think that would have been a wise thing to do. I've said this also in public. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. He's been there for a long time, but he's probably the most sane and the most qualified person who could become an acceptable leader of the Palestinians. But this is not the view of the current government and the government of Mr. Netanyahu.
Efraim Halevy, I want to thank you very much for being our guest here on France 24, and I want to thank you all for watching this edition of Tête à Tête. Stay tuned for more news.